And welcome back to a brand new What If. No longer are we doing the days, the My Hero Pokemon Academia crossover What If. We are on to new pastures and old methods. Don't worry, there will be other non-Dragon Ball Naruto What Ifs. Don't worry, that'll happen. But let's go back to something we know, Dragon Ball for now. And this one comes from us from there we go. Xavier Lee, Shinobi Ranger Blue, did I get that right? God's cousin, Sun Wukong, Tensaiga Veris, and Hugo M _678, who asked the question, what if Raditz had gone to Earth with Goku as a kid? Now, we have to change some things up to make this happen, first and foremost. Raditz, first off, has to be on planet Vegeta, not off planet Vegeta, like we see in Broly. There's a little kid Raditz right there. And we also have to also have to understand how powerful Raditz might have been at the time. So first off, let's just change the scenario around a little bit. Raditz somehow gets called home, or is somehow brought back to planet Vegeta, maybe upon Bardock's request, maybe something didn't go right on a mission, whatever. Maybe he recovers real quick and he's ready to go back out there, but as the destruction of planet Vegeta is approaching, Bardock sees a chance to save both his sons. He basically tells Raditz that, look, Raditz, I don't have time to say, take your brother and go. It's like, what? What's going on, Dad? It's like, and then he's like, the plan's gonna, look, you're a smart kid. You're a smart kid, Rads. You take care of your brother. Make sure we live on. He's like, what's going on? And he would send Rads out with Kakarot, and Kakarot obviously can't talk. He's still a little kid. He's like, yeah. And even Rads like, what? Rads is confused. Like, Rads was never, from the little we can depict his personality, was never a really heartfelt, emotional guy. But at the same time, he's still just a kid. I think I can never remember how much older is Raditz than Goku. I think he's like 6 or 7 years older, something like that. How much older is Raditz than Goku? Let's see here now. Raditz is, but okay, they figure he's anywhere between 8 to 15 years older than Goku. So, cut the middleman out. Let's just say 11 years. Which makes it, you could tell he was older than Goku by a fair margin when you really look at him. Like, Goku looked like a young guy in his 20s. No, Raditz looked like he was in his 30s minimum. Granted, Saiyan's age slower, but still, you got the idea that Raditz was a good degree older than Goku. So yeah, we'll cut the middleman out of that and just say, since it's 8 plus 15 is 23, we'll round it up and cut it down, round it up, say 12 years older. So Raditz is 12, whereas Kakarot is, I think, 2. So okay. So Raditz is actually Goku's age near the beginning. So roughly speaking, Goku's 12. I digress. He's 14. There you go. So he sends him off. But we also now have to take into consideration a big question here, because it's going to factor into how Raditz interacts with the rest of the plan. How strong was Raditz at this age? We know by the Daizenshuu that Raditz's full power was actually about 1,500. They assumed, Nappa and Vegeta assumed that his power was actually only about 1,200. But it's clear, but thanks to, that same biology, he was a little bit stronger. But that's him decades later. And he only got to 1,500, which tells me he was definitely in the lower class of Saiyan warriors. Still powerful, sure, but not anything that was, not like the lowest class. Like, hell, that guy that Paragus kills in the Broly movie said that his power wasn't even as strong as Broly's when he was weakened. So take that for what it's worth. He's clearly a little stronger than your lowest low class, but he's still, as Vegeta say, low class trash. But what would he have been like as a kid? Because that's decades of power, strength and all that he gained, and even then he was only 1,500. My guess is he was strong enough to not just be sent out among the stars like Goku was going to be, because Goku's power was only 2. So he was strong enough to not be sent among the stars, and he obviously grew a little bit in strength as the years went on. Also, we know that Nappa was much older at that than either him or Vegeta, and was kind of like the caretaker of those two for a while. And Vegeta, we know, had a power level of actually around 11,000 when he was not like a baby born with it, but because he was not born with that. But as a young kid, he had a power of like around 11,000. So, but he was also, he was also a Saiyan elite. So where does Raditz's power fall into? I would say at age 14, at this point in his life, and the fact that he probably wasn't growing by leaps and bounds, and he wasn't growing very quickly or anything like that, 200, 150 maybe. We'll go to low on the lower side and say 150. He's 10 times weaker than he is in the canon. I think that's reasonable. Whereas his brother is, nothing. Like, his brother is just a little kid, and he's so they are eventually sent to Earth, and Raditz, though, does see, along with Goku, the destruction of their home world. Their father saved their life. And now it actually raises it. Here, this is a very interesting thing. You would think that Raditz is just, programmed to go and conquer the world. Like, going to conquer Earth. But he's no longer working with Vegeta or Nappa. He could try to contact them, sure, to let them know what happened. But it's a matter of, he actually saw what happened from the ship. That's the thing. It's not like, it was destroyed by a meteor or whatever. It's like, no, he saw Vegeta. He saw Vegeta be destroyed by Frieza himself. Which means if he tries to contact Vegeta or Nappa through that technology, then, there's a good chance they'll get back to Frieza and they'll just find them. So now Raditz has to not only take care of his brother, he's got to figure out what to do. Because there's now no point in taking over a planet. Especially if he's not aware of the inhabitants of the planet. For all he knows, he's going to end up on a planet. Because Raditz seemed to be the smarter of the two. He was a strategist. He was conniving. He would trick people, like we saw with Goku. Let me go with my tail, please. I'm sorry. I was lying. So it's a matter of he's going to have to gauge his surroundings when him and Goku get there. And sure enough, Kakarot and him arrive on the planet. And, they get out, and they're just wondering, what type of planet is this? Yes, Kakarot, yes, well, don't worry, we'll find something to eat very shortly. It's like, oh, dear, what's going on down here? Dear, what happened? Are you boys all right? Who are you? And I actually think Raditz kept this Gouter, or at least for a little while, anyway, until he realized that, oh, wait, no, this thing can get me found out. So he initially sees Gohan's power level. Remember, I'm putting Raditz at around 150. A, for story purposes, and B, that makes sense. There's just no way to tell how strong he really was. Grandpa Gohan's power level. I don't think we ever get a proper power level for Grandpa Gohan. Grandpa Gohan's power level. Do we got any numbers on that? Maybe? Possibly? Let's see. Okay, so Gohan fought on par with Goku that had basically, as they say, cursed on General Tao Pai Pai. Keep in mind, Goku's power actually was around 180 some odd at that point. So it's very possible that that Gohan was stronger, at least, than base form Roshi at that point. So it's an interesting dilemma there. I will say conservatively that Gohan's power, when he's at its full max, is probably around 180, because he was able to match Goku as a kid who was much stronger at that point. Which means that Raditz immediately knows, without going, unless he can go Izaru, which I don't think kid Raditz at this point would know how to create a false moon, that he can't beat this man in a fight. But at first, in the morning, say, "Oh dear, what happened here?" We landed on your planet, because he doesn't know. They don't know about it. Is it the planet, and we seek shelter and food for my little brother. I ask for your aid, please. And you landed on planet. Are you alien? You kids, this must be some new type of slang you kids are saying. Landing on the planet. You make it sound like you're aliens or something. Aliens? I mean, to me, you're the alien, old man. And then he sees, I am Raditz of the Saiyan race, one of the last members of the Saiyan race. This is my little brother Kakarot. I ask again, we seek your aid. I do not wish to take food I'll take food by force if I must. It's like, well, hold on now. There's no reason to get into all of his, And then he finally says, wait, what's that? It's like, that's our ship, of course. And Gohan says, like, oh my God, you really are aliens, aren't you? Of course. Told you what Saiyans. I suppose, though, to you, we would be aliens. If you're aliens to us, though, I suppose we would be aliens to you. Still, this does not solve my current situation. If you will not hand over shelter and food, I shall defeat you and have to force you to show me where it is. Kakarot, stay here. And Goku's just, it's like, all right then, and he comes at him. But unfortunately, Gohan is A, stronger, and B, has decade. We actually don't know how old Grandpa Gohan was. Grandpa Gohan's age. How old was he? Grandpa Gohan's age. Do we know how old he was? I think I looked this up once. Date of birth, date of death. Okay, yeah, we do have a date of birth, date of death. So Grandpa Gohan, roughly speaking, was 42 plus 49? Why is there between the ages of the death? Oh, okay. So at the youngest, he is 42 plus that. He was 80. At his oldest, theorized, he was actually 90 something, which would make sense. It's probably likely that he was very similar to Roshi in that he was much fitter and better health than his age would let on. But still, he's got decades worth of experience, so he's just no, yeah, hold on now, and then just this man, he's clearly a warrior. No, I'm not. No, something. He's beyond that. He's a master. It's like no, and just kind of was like, no, hold on. I never said I wouldn't help you. He was like, I just need to know all the facts. Besides, what kind of man would I be if I didn't help you kids out? Come on. Well, maybe we'll drag that ship. We're gonna stay at my place for the night, and we'll figure out what to do with you in the morning. We'll drag that ship by the house later on tomorrow. And they say, thank you. My apologies for getting my apologies for attacking you like that. I just we struggle. We're struggling. We've been through a lot recently. Oh dear. What do you mean by a lot? Why don't you tell me over dinner? And so they go and just feel like they seize the meat. So basically, and Gohan also heard the story. And again, that whole Saiyan edge and pride and kind of, them control, a type of emotions they have kind of gives them the whole, yep, I can just talk to you about my whole planet, family, and everyone I love dying kind of style without it, affecting me in the least. Kind of style. Like, my word, you poor kids, it must have been so hard for you. And the Raditz actually does stop him. We Saiyans are not an emotional lot, old man. We are trained to hone our emotions and fight for conquering. Then Raditz actually does pause a little bit and looks at Goku, who still doesn't quite understand what's happened. He's just busy eating. However, I will admit, watching mother and father's sacrifice, it did cause feelings to stir. It did give me feelings I am not used to. It's, something you might call sorrow, or akin to regret. My word. Well, why did you boys get a good night's sleep, and then we'll bring your ship over here, and we'll see what we can do with you after that. We thank you for your hospitality. And so, they spend the night, and then they go and they drag the ship. Fortunately, Raditz is strong enough. I think he can probably carry the ship. Or close enough that he can at least help, certainly, with dragging it. I was like, mate, you're right. I wish I knew someone who knew technology better than I did. Unfortunately, I've been around the block for a while, but this is all new to me. So tell me, what are your plans for staying here? What are your plans in terms of staying at this planet? And Rad's just thinking, we don't know. We were only concerned with really getting out of the way of the destruction of our planet. So we hadn't really considered it past that point. Or our father hadn't really considered it past that point. All he was concerned about was our safety. So, well, that's our fathers for you. They mean the best they can. They do the best they can with what they have. And sometimes what they have just isn't enough. It's like, wise was. Well, until you kids are old enough to find a place of your own to live, you're more than welcome to stay with me, so long as you help pull your weight a little bit. It's like, your hospital, I can't accept that. Your hospitality has been, you've been too generous already. It's actually making me a bit uncomfortable, to be frank. It's like, oh, it's no worry at all. Besides, I can tell you boys have a lot of potential. If your brother's anything like you boys have a lot of potential. It might do you well to learn a thing or two about the martial arts. Martial arts? And to be fair, I'm sure they understand the concept of martial arts, but when you really look at most of those of the natural Saiyan fighters, they're brawlers. They're not. Vegeta has a form, but he's not really a martial artist in the beginning. Yes, later on he becomes more of a true martial artist. Goku is a martial. He's trained with actual martial artists. Vegeta has not. At least not by our definition of the term. And it's like, absolutely, it'll do you well. Maybe one day you can even avenge. You can actually be strong enough to avenge your home world. If nothing else, it'll help defend you. Defend you in the years to come. And Raditz is just looking at it, and he's like, yeah, Kakarot really does need to learn how to fight. So, absolutely. So, it's decided then. Well, good. It does get lonely up here anyway. So, that's what goes on. And for the next 10 years or so, that is, their lives, they actually like their lives. It's a quiet life. They definitely get the action in when they have to spar, all that. Even Grandpa Gohan, I think, does get a little bit of training in where he actually his power does increase. I wouldn't be anything amazing, maybe like 200, 220. But he actually gets an exercise with Raditz and Goku around. They pull their weight. Raditz, even though, he's still got that Saiyan's like need to fight and conquer to some degree. I imagine Raditz is actually very happy. Like he's come to respect this man very much. They not truly like their father because Raditz knew his father, but a surrogate father certainly. What is your name, old man? Oh, you can call me Gohan. In terms of how strong Goku or Raditz get, that we'll talk about that in just a second. There is no incident with the moon, by the way, because Raditz is there. He keeps Goku in check. Actually makes mention to Gohan about the moon. When I say, if we are to ever go, we Saiyans can turn into monstrous creatures when we look into the moon. Giant apes of power, increasing our power tenfold. But only the strongest and most trained mind strong-minded, strong-willed of us, our kind, can maintain ourselves when we're in that form. Most of us turn into wild animals. Wild beasts like us. So what you're saying is you need discipline. Is that it? Yes, that's right. Perhaps that's a way to put it. Well, that's what the martial arts are all about, is discipline. You're not going to get them controlling their 8 forms right out the gate. But, the fact that they're, honing their minds and their martial art, that definitely helps a little bit. In terms of how strong they get, Goku certainly grows the most, and it's clear Goku had the more potential than Raditz when we really see how much Goku improves overall. But Raditz certainly is no slouch. Over 10 years, but remembering that he has to ultimately fight people who are going to end up being weaker than him, Raditz's power is probably somewhere, and because he's probably not getting the Zenkais he did while fighting throughout the planet, through working with Frieza and Vegeta and Nappa. That was probably one of the big reasons he got as high as he did, was Zenkais. Raditz is probably somewhere in the 400 range, which is, let's say 425. I think that's a reasonable range. Goku, though, has improved by leaps and bounds, because he's not only been training with Grandpa Gohan, and granted, that training only led to him having a power level of 10 before he killed the old man, but he's also had Raditz there to train with him as well. And Raditz is a much stronger opponent to fight than Gohan is. So, factoring a lot of Zenkai, Saiyan physiology, I will conservatively say, first off, I'm going to combine training and let's go like order. We'll go 4 multipliers of training and 4 multipliers of Zenkai. So the first multiplier training, let's just put him at that 10. Then Raditz just kicks his butt again, and he gets a Zenkai. In terms of what the Zenkai would be, it's a reasonable question because it can change. It seems to be around 25 to 30%. But it can be more depending on what's going on, like the SL level, all that, blah, 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 blah. The Frieza saga really made Zenkai's ridiculous. But for now, we'll go with the 25 to 30 to, on occasion, a 50% boost. In this case, go with a 50% boost, which puts him up to 15. Not much going on with that. Goku doesn't give up, though. His training continues greatly. Double that power, 30, nothing. Zenkai will go about 25. We'll go about 30. That puts him up to 40. Got 2 more to go. Now training again. He's improving by leaps and bounds. Raditz can notice this. Keep in mind, this is Raditz whose power right now is around 425. And Grandpa Gohan's power would be around 200, anywhere between 180 to 220. Goku would probably now go to about 1. I'm basically doubling it roughly. 180, another Zenkai. This time we're going to go about 25, which puts him at 100, which puts him actually now at his Budokai power level. Then you get that final train. Now this one I'm not going to double, or that final boost and then Zenkai. This one I'm not going to double because I don't think you would get that. But I think Goku probably through a lot of training would probably get to about like 130, maybe 135 or 140. We'll say for a relatively easy number, 130. So he gets one more. He gets beat down. Give him one more base solid Zenkai, and you have him, roughly speaking, at if I'm going to go about 30%, I'm going to say that's about 45. So now he's about at 180. We'll round him up to actually 180. Still not as strong as Gohan by the time Bulma's going to show up. But he's now, roughly speaking, at his second Budokai, his fight with Tien power level. So that's kind of where they've been. They've just, they're actually enjoying their life. It's peaceful, but they do get some action where they have to fight like a monster, an animal or something like that. Bandit every now and then. Gohan's been giving them great training. They're surprisingly content. Even Raditz, I think, would be surprisingly content at this time. Though he still has a longing, certainly, to, get back out there and maybe try to fight Vegeta, take on Nappa. But he may reclaim his own. But at the moment, he just knows there's no way he can do that. There's just no way he can beat. Their powers are nothing compared to those guys right now. Still, they're doing their thing, and they're walking home after catching some fish, and all of a sudden, Bulma comes and nearly hits Goku. But fortunately, Goku and Raditz can fly in this one. Yeah, because we know Raditz can fly. So I imagine he learned at a young age, and he would probably teach it to Goku. They get out of the way, and Bulma's just like, whoa! She thought she saw them jump. As it turns out, they didn't just jump. They jump good. They flew. Like, you're flying. He's like, watch where you're going, Earthwoman. He's like, yeah, seriously, what the heck? You almost hit us, you crazy lady. And because Gohan's there, I think, yeah. And Raditz clearly knew what women were. Goku's not dumb about what the opposite sex is this time. It's like, what? You gotta watch where you're going with that thing, man. What is? And again, because he's got Raditz there and he's got Gohan there, Goku's not dumb to what a car is. Goku's a lot more knowledgeable about what the outside world is. I'm sure they've even gone to like markets and stuff on occasions and kind of interacted with people to some degree. Should know that Raditz right now would be about 24, so he would be he would probably look like a slightly younger version of himself that we saw in Dragon Ball Z. Keep in mind, though, he's a good 8 years older than Bulma, so if Bulma tries to hit on him, this thing's going to get awkward fast. FBI! Anyway, though, the meeting of Bulma is where we're ending this What If for now. So that's the end of part 1. What did you think? Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, who wants to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. And ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Super Magic, What If, anything to do with the channel. Put that in the comments below. Let me know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Do I have anything else planned for today? WandaVision. I'll have a review up for episode 4 of WandaVision. I haven't watched it yet. It's pre-recorded on Friday. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm planning to watch it with my girlfriend when she gets back and she's done with her D&D session. So, yeah, because apparently we get a lot of input what's going on a bit in this one. And I saw a sneak peek of what's going to happen for future episodes. I'm like, oh, shit's going to go down soon. But until then, other than the WandaVision episode, I got nothing else planned for the rest of the day. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you folks next time. Later.